good morning, and happy Tuesday from the farm. Today is December 27th, 2022, and welcome to Thinking Outside the Soil, where we talk about the farmers and ranchers that use hydroponic practices to grow the crops and creatures we need to eat. I am your host, Sean Short, and thank you for being with me on this beautiful morning. What a great day lies ahead for us all. Today, I am going to talk about the ABCD'S of hydroponic fodder. This is a term that I coined that nods to the merchants of grain as well as our kindergarten caroling. It is also a titled chapter in my book, Thinking Outside the Soil: How Hydroponic Fodder Helps Farmers Save Water, Improve Livestock Quality, and Become Better Stewards. The great Thomas Jefferson once said, "The greatest service which can be rendered any country is to add a useful plant to its culture." As a plant breeder myself, I would wholeheartedly agree. Many of the field crops or weeds that farmers use to feed livestock are excellent candidates for hydroponic fodder, but some crops do better than others. Seed selection is going to be an important decision for producing the highest quality fodder and managing your farm. This episode introduces the 7 crops that will be a major part of this show going forward. These are alfalfa, barley, corn, cowpea, clover, duckweed, and sunflower. Now, these 7 major crops are used in field cultivation and commonly used for animal feedstuffs. Based on the published data that is out there in the world from farmers and researchers, we will discuss these crops from the perspective of their availability, their yields, their water use efficiency, and the nutritional value of them in comparison to their field cousins. So one of the big questions that we will ask ourselves is, what should you grow for your animals? Well, you grow what you already know and buy for them. That could be the forage seed that you plant and pasture already, or it could be the hayseed or grain that you harvest. Seed selection will largely depend on the animals you raise. So each crop is of great importance to the farmers and the larger agricultural systems. In general, you will want to look to your existing supply chain. So start with a seed supplier nearby to get bulk seed, or you can give us a call. You'll want to focus on pasture, reclamation, or turf seed suppliers. For example, barley and corn are used as grain, forage, and hay. Different regions will have different crop seeds, so availability will depend largely upon the seasonal crop yields, cost, and some of those other factors already mentioned. The prices may vary, but the more you buy, the better the deal. Small farmers may be okay with a few pounds at a time, whereas the larger farmers will need to buy at least 50-pound bags or buy the 100-weight totes. Vegetable seed companies will have some of the mentioned crops, but they will be significantly more expensive. In a pinch, I've used some of those seeds from vegetable companies or scoured Amazon. Unfortunately, I always pay more than I want, or sometimes I do get low quality seeds from places like Amazon. The 7 major crops have comparable yields to each other under hydroponic culture. Now, this is in stark contrast to the same crops when they're grown in the field. Crops grown conventionally don't yield the same weight of green plant matter as hydroponic fodder. We mentioned water use efficiency, and this is the ratio that measures the total amount of plant matter produced given a certain amount of water used. The water use efficiency will compare how well different crops used water, or how well they use water when they're grown under the hydroponic condition or when they're grown in the field condition. So essentially, the larger the water use number, the better the crop can use water. Unfortunately, there is some limited data on the crops. However, any available data out there will act as a guideline for other hydroponic crops. The nutritional properties for these crops as animal feed is available in a lot of other literature out there. Yet, from a hydroponic fodder perspective, there are significant gaps with some of the crops. So more work must be done to study the nutrition of these and other crops grown under hydroponic cultivation. Most research concerning these topics is published in the International Standard Metric Units, and I find that many lose interest if they must do that math inside their head. So throughout this podcast and in the material that I've written, I have done my best to simplify that for the sake of conversation. So I converted the metric into the imperial units used by US farmers. For instance, the water use efficiency is usually measured in grams or kilograms per liter of water. So this means translating liters into gallons or tons into US tons or bushels. In all of my years, I see that it's this lack of concern for how the farmer listens and reads that seems to be one of the largest barriers for success. So I hope that this translation will help you see better how these crops can be used hydroponically. Now, we will be discussing more of these topics and crops in future episodes. However, this was an introductory for the ABCD'S of fodder. So please listen in the future or get yourself a copy of the book and just jump into chapter 4. So if you want to learn more about how hydroponic fodder helps farmers save water, improve their livestock quality, and become better stewards, check out thinkingoutsidethesoil.com. Right now, I'm running a special offer so you can get the book. I actually bought a bunch of them, and all I ask is that you take care of shipping and handling. This is a way better deal than you can find online or at the bookstore, so don't miss out on getting yourself this book and joining in on the next agricultural revolution. So thank you again for joining me today on another episode of Thinking Outside the Soil, and I hope that you take care and have a
Hey, before you go, check out the links below, leave me a rating and review, and follow the show. Don't forget to get yourself some of our Blooming Health blended sprouting mix. Our mix has been shown to get the best eggs and create the healthiest flocks. With feed costs going up, right now's the time to lock in a subscription so that you can get the best eggs without having to go to the grocery store or the feed store anymore. Check out the links below to get yourself some Blooming Health blended sprouting mix.